Dear students, in the previous lecture we have discussed about the different types of solid waste. We have discussed that these solid waste are responsible for polluting the soil. We also discussed about several methods by which this solid waste can be reduced, as well as we have discussed about the strategies for the waste management. Now we are discussing about one more way in which the soil is getting polluted, and that is by the use of the agrochemicals. So we are today discussing about the agrochemicals and their effects on the soil as well as their harmful effects on the humans and other animals. So as we know that in the Green Revolution there was a trend to increase the productivity of the crops. To increase the productivity of the crops, different methods were being used up by different farmers. And in this method, the most prevalent method was the use of fertilizers, the use of pesticides that will eradicate the pest and therefore increase the productivity or increase the yield. The use of fertilizers, mainly the nitrate fertilizers, will be very much helpful for the growth of the plants as the soil is often deprived of nitrogen. So there was excessive use of fertilizers and the pesticides. The effect was that these fertilizers and pesticides, when used on excess, they are having several harmful effects on the organisms. So here we talk about two such cases, that is use of pesticides and then after the use of fertilizers, how it will be harmful for the other organisms. We will also discuss about a case study for organic waste, so that we will discuss after completion of the agrochemicals and their effects. So pesticides. Pesticides are used to eradicate the pest. And these pests can be either fungi, that is use of fungicides. There can be use of insecticides for removal of the insects. There will be use of rodenticides that are used for getting rid of the rodents, and the use of weedicides. So these four are included in the pesticides. They are broad spectrum and their functions are as biocides. They function as biocides means they are responsible for killing of several organisms. Though these organisms were harmful for the agricultural field, however, the only drawback is with the killing of the organisms which were actually to be killed, there will be effect on even non-target organisms. मतलब जो टारगेट ऑर्गेनिज्म है वो तो किल हो ही रहा है, पर साथ साथ में नॉन टारगेट ऑर्गेनिजम्स होते हैं, दे आर ऑल्सो गेटिंग किल्ड. सो along with the target organisms, they kill several non-target organisms also. And as they kill the non-target organisms, this is responsible for destroying the whole ecosystem of the soil. तो सॉइल का जो नेचुरल हैबिटेट है, नेचुरल उसमें जो इंसेक्ट्स हैं, द बायोटा विच इज नेचुरली प्रेजेंट, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी रिमूव्ड ऑफ एंड देयरफॉर द सॉइल इकोसिस्टम इज गोइंग टू बी डिस्टर्ब्ड. The common example of one such pesticides is chlorinated hydrocarbons. Chlorinated hydrocarbons include DDT and BHC. तो DDT और BHC जो है वो तो सिर्फ एक दो एग्जाम्पल हैं, इसके अलावा आल्ड्रेन और ऐसे कई सारे केमिकल क्लोरीनेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन्स होते हैं. ये जो हाइड्रोकार्बन्स होते हैं वो एनवायरमेंट में परसिस्टेंट रहते हैं, मतलब कोई भी तरह से डिग्रेड होते नहीं है. ये नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल होते हैं एंड दे आर वेरी एफिशिएंट इन किलिंग ऑफ द पेस्ट. But they remain persistent in the environment. They are even fat soluble and they show biomagnification. Fat soluble means once the organism takes this pesticides in the body, these pesticides will be stored in the fat layers of that organism. As it remains in the fat layer of the organism, obviously this is going to be undergoing the next trophic level organism. मतलब उसे फीड करने वाला जो दूसरा ऑर्गेनिज्म है उसमें भी ये क्लोरीनेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन्स पास ऑन होंगे, and therefore it will be passing on to the organisms of the higher trophic level, which was known as the phenomena of biomagnification. So here it is going to be harmful for the organisms of higher trophic level, as I said. तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट इफेक्ट, सबसे एडवर्स इफेक्ट जो है द यूज ऑफ पेस्टिसाइड्स, वो एडवर्स इफेक्ट क्या है, दैट इट अंडरगोज बायोमैग्निफिकेशन एंड देयरफॉर इट डज नॉट ओनली पोल्यूट द सॉइल, it disturbs the flora, it disturbs the fauna of the soil also, it imbalances the ecosystem also, as well as these harmful chemicals pass on to the organisms of the higher trophic level and therefore are responsible for biomagnification. The another thing that is being commonly used are the fertilizers. Fertilizers तब यूज किए जाते हैं when the soil is deprived of some of the nutrients. मेनली नाइट्रोजन होता है, फॉस्फेट्स होते हैं, ये जो न्यूट्रिएंट्स होते हैं वो सॉइल में कम होते हैं, जिसकी वजह से हम एडिशनल फर्टिलाइजर्स यूज करते हैं. तो ये जो फर्टिलाइजर्स होते हैं अगर वो एक्सेस में यूज किए जाए तो दे आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर सॉइल डिटेरियोरेशन, दैट इज दे डिक्रीज द सॉइल माइक्रोफ्लोरा. मतलब सॉइल का जो इनबॉर्न, जो सॉइल का जो हैबिटेट है, दैट ऑर्गेनिजम्स विच आर लिविंग इन दैट सॉइल आर द माइक्रोफ्लोरा विच आर गोइंग टू बी किल्ड ड्यू टू द यूज ऑफ एक्सेसिव फर्टिलाइजर्स. Even it happens that these fertilizers gets leached down into the soil and therefore they make the underground water polluted. तो अंडरग्राउंड वाटर, क्योंकि ये जो फर्टिलाइजर्स कॉन्स्टेंटली सॉइल में ऐड किए जाते हैं, प्लांट्स पे ऐड किए जाते हैं, उसकी वजह से ये जो फर्टिलाइजर्स हैं they are going to seep down into the water resources which are present under table and as a result the water becomes polluted. नाइट्रेट रिच फूड्स, मतलब अगर एक्सेस ऑफ नाइट्रेट स्प्रे किए गए हैं तो नाइट्रेट्स रिच फ्रूट्स होते हैं, लीव्स होते हैं, उनमें क्या होता है दैट दे प्रोड्यूस नाइट्राइट्स इन द एलिमेंट्री कैनाल. मतलब ऐसे नाइट्रेट रिच फूड जब हम खाते हैं तो ये जो नाइट्रेट्स हैं दे गेट कन्वर्टेड इनटू नाइट्राइट्स इनटू आवर एलिमेंट्री कैनाल. एलिमेंट्री कैनाल में नाइट्राइट्स में कन्वर्ट होने के बाद ये नाइट्राइट्स जो होते हैं वो हमारे ब्लड में मिक्स हो जाते हैं एंड दे विल बी कंबाइनिंग विद द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पिगमेंट दैट इज हीमोग्लोबिन. तो नाइट्राइट्स when combined with hemoglobin they form MET hemoglobin and this MET hemoglobin reduces the oxygen transportability. मतलब हीमोग्लोबिन का जो ऑक्सीजन ट्रांसपोर्टेबिलिटी है बॉडी में ये डिक्रीज हो जाएगा. This is the effect very similar to the effect of carbon monoxide on our hemoglobin. राइट, हीमोग्लोबिन पे ऑक्सीजन भी बाइंड हो सकता है, कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड भी बाइंड हो सकता है, पर अगर कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड बाइंड हो गया है तो ऑक्सीजन का ट्रांसपोर्ट क्या हो जाता है, कम हो जाता है. तो सेम वे हियर आल्सो दिस थिंग इज ऑब्जर्व्ड. सॉलिड वेस्ट जो होता है, ये तो हो गई फर्टिलाइजर्स की बात. आगे चलते हैं सॉलिड वेस्ट फ्रॉम म्यूनिसिपैलिटी एंड इंडस्ट्रीज. इंडस्ट्रीज और म्यूनिसिपैलिटी में से भी सॉलिड वेस्ट जो होता है वो डंप कर दिया जाता है ऑन द लैंड. So this waste is directly dumped on the land. अब land पे dump कर दिया है, that is going to be again polluting the land. Heavy metals, toxic chemicals, all these are the substances that are going to pollute the soil. So these are some of the reasons of the agrochemical based pollution, and now we are going to discuss about a case study. So after discussing about the effects of the agrochemical waste on the soil and how it pollutes the soil, now we are talking about the next thing, that is the case study of the organic farming. Now what is this organic farming? Organic farming means this is a farming technique in which none of the chemical substances are being used in the agricultural field. That is, not even high amount of fertilizers are used, not even use of other pesticides or weedicides to eradicate and increase the productivity. Instead, here in the integrated organic farming, it is a technique in which cyclic zero waste procedure of farming, where waste of one process are cycled as nutrients for the next process. So in this technique, the waste that is generated at the end of one process will be used as a material for enhancing the nutritive value of the soil. So here no waste is going to be generated. For example, the crops which are being grown in the agricultural land, they are going to serve as the fodder for the cattle, and the the excretory material of the cattle and all that animal waste can be used up in a biogas plant for generation of methane. So in this way there is cycling of the nutrients and the waste generation is going to be very, very less. So this innovative approach was for the first time being taken over by a farmer, and his name was Ramesh Chandra Dagar. Ramesh Chandra Dagar was of Sonipat, Haryana, and he has developed such a system of integrated organic farming. That is, he used a large number of techniques at the same time. For example, he has integrated the beekeeping as well as dairy management, water harvesting system, composting as well as agriculture. All of these techniques were used together. Means with the agricultural land he used to produce biogas also. Along with biogas he was also used with the beekeeping, also with the dairy management, and all these techniques were being done at the same time, and therefore a sustainable venture was being developed by him. That is, different components were used at the same place. So what did he do? He used one of the material that was obtained from one place and it was used at the other place. So here there was cycling of the nutrients instead of wastage of any other material. Cattle dung that was produced from the cattle was used as manure. तो कैटल्स उसने रखी थी, तो कैटल्स जो होती है जो वो वेस्ट प्रोड्यूस करेंगी वो वेस्ट को यूज कर लिया एज अ मैन्योर. सिमिलरली क्रॉप का जो वेस्ट होता है उसको भी उसने स्टोर कर लिया एंड इट वाज लेटर ऑन यूज्ड एज अ कंपोस्ट. तो एग्रीकल्चरल फील्ड का वेस्ट कंपोस्टिंग के लिए यूज हो गया. सेम वे कैटल का जो वेस्ट था दैट वाज यूज्ड अप फॉर प्रिपेयरिंग मैन्योर. Even both of these waste were sometimes collected and there was production of the biogas through it, and therefore biogas was produced which was helpful in serving the energy requirements for the farm. So manure to meet the needs of the farm, manure was prepared which can be used up in the farm. Harvested water is used for इरिगेशन, क्योंकि उसने वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग सिस्टम भी डेवलप करके रखी थी, तो वो जो वाटर हार्वेस्ट हुआ है वो इरिगेशन में यूज कर लेता था. अलॉन्ग विद दैट फार्म है, तो फार्म इज गोइंग टू प्रोवाइड द फॉर्डर टू द कैटल, तो कैटल के फूड का भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं रहेगा, तो फॉर्डर वाज आल्सो ऑब्टेन फॉर द कैटल. बीज वेर केप्ट, बी कीपिंग आल्सो ही हैज प्रैक्टिस एंड दैट वाज केप्ट फॉर पॉलिनेशन. मतलब आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो कि कैटल डंग को उसने मैन्योर के लिए यूज कर लिया, सिमिलरली क्रॉप वेस्ट को कंपोस्ट के लिए यूज कर लिया. दोनों को साथ में मैन्योर के साथ साथ समटाइम्स दे वर यूज्ड फॉर द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ द बायोगैस आल्सो दैट विल बी फुलफिलिंग द एनर्जी रिक्वायरमेंट्स रिक्वायर्ड इन दैट फील्ड. Along with that he has used the harvested water. वो जो वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग टेक्निक से वाटर हार्वेस्ट करता था वही वाटर वाज यूज्ड फॉर द इरिगेशन फैसिलिटीज ऑफ द फार्म. फार्म है तो फॉर्डर मिल जाएगा कैटल के लिए. तो जब इसने ये सारी टेक्निक्स को इंटीग्रेट कर दिया, one of the technique and its product was useful for some other technique, and therefore his innovative approach was given a big appreciation. So here Dagar has also set in Haryana the Kisan Welfare Club, and in this Kisan Welfare Club he has taught the farmers different types of these techniques and integrated organic management. Such techniques were being taught to farmers and more than 5,000 farmers are having membership in it. And that is actually very beneficial, that without use of any of the toxic pesticides and fungicides and any other substances, the productivity of the field can be improved, as well as integrated programs will reduce the amount of waste that is generated. Let us now talk about the next type of waste, which is one of the reason for soil pollution, and that is the radioactive waste. The radioactive waste, initially it was found that the nuclear energy was a non-polluting source of energy. So initially nuclear energy was being used for generating the different types of energy like electricity, and it was used in the form of thermal power plants. So this nuclear energy was considered to be a non-polluting way for generating the electricity, and therefore the use of this nuclear energy was increasing day by day. Later on it was realized that the use of nuclear energy has two very serious problems. So nuclear energy which is being used for generating the electricity is having two very major problems. The first problem that is being mentioned is the accidental leakage of this nuclear energy. The radioactive waste will be liberating this energy, and this energy is having, that is accidental leakage of this energy is responsible for various diseases, and in extreme cases it may cause diseases like cancer, which can become very dreadful. Even low cases or low radiations are responsible for diseases like thyroidism. So it is also one of the major problem. In extreme cases, high leakage can also result into death of many individuals at a time. And therefore, nuclear energy was considered to be a doubtful question that whether it should be used or not. So one of the problem with the nuclear energy is the accidental leakage, which can be very harmful. And this accidental leakage reports have been reported in places like 3 Mile Island. 3 Mile Island, which is situated in Pennsylvania, USA, where there was the accidental leakage in one of the power plant. And this accidental leakage had harmful effects on many individuals working in that area. Along with it, and as this incident had occurred a long back, and this incident was responsible for even death of certain individuals. Another such accidental leakage was found in Chernobyl, that is Ukraine. So in this place also, accidental leakage of the radioactive energy was being observed, and this release of the energy was responsible for causing more than 55 to 60 deaths in that same place. So this can be a very great problem. Another thing is that disposal of the radioactive waste. That is also a big question. So there are two things which are very problematic over here for use of radioactive substances for generating energy. Is one, the accidental leakage problem, and the another problem is how to dispose the radioactive waste. Now, radioactive, that is the radiations which are being given by this nuclear waste, are extremely damaging to the organisms. इसमें से जो एनर्जी रिलीज होती है रेडियोएक्टिव सब्सटेंसेस में से, ये एनर्जी यूजफुल तो होती है, बट इट इज ऑल्सो वेरी मच डेंजरस, and therefore it will be extremely damaging to the organism, because in long run it is responsible for the mutations which occur at very high rate. Mutation is alterations of the genetic sequences, and this alterations of the genetic sequences is going to be a very dreadful condition for the organisms. At high doses, the nuclear radiations are lethal, that is they can even cause death. तो अगर वो रेडिएशंस बहुत ही ज्यादा अमाउंट में रिलीज हो रही है तो इट कैन बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर द डेथ ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल ऑल्सो, बट एट लो डोजेज ऑल्सो, इवन इफ स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ लीकेज इज बीन ऑब्जर्व्ड, then also the radioactive waste can cause several disorders like cancer. So obviously this is also going to be very dangerous. Thus it is extremely potent pollutant. Use of radioactive waste is a very potent pollutant because there can occur an accidental leakage of it, or else it is also problematic how to dispose the radioactive waste. So most of the countries, most of the places are not agreeing on the use of radioactive substances as a source of energy. After sufficient pre-treatment, how to store it? So storage of the nuclear waste should be done in the suitable shielded containers. So there should be specialized containers for disposing this radioactive waste, and using this containers which are having shield or which are having covering, these covered containers are also to be buried within the rocks about 500 meters deep the earth's surface. So below the earth's surface, in the midst of the rocks, below 500 meter deep, this all type of radioactive waste are being placed in the containers. But still there are chances of it getting leaked out, or there are chances for it to damage the underground water sources also. And therefore radioactive substances which are used for generating energy are again a very big question whether they can be used or not, and therefore it is considered to be a potent pollutant.